we get to take those views in, share them with the world, and bring them back to Earth with us when we come back, and that perspective that we gain because of it. It's definitely a privilege.
Christina Cook, it's an honor to speak with you, and we wish you Godspeed. Happy 4th of July. We'll be following you from Earth.
Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure to speak with you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the WTVD portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from Raleigh News and Observer.
Station, this is Raleigh News and Observer. How do you hear me?
Raleigh News and Observer, the International Space Station, has you loud and clear.
Hi, Christina. This is Kate Murphy. I'm the higher education reporter at the Raleigh News and Observer. We're so excited to talk to you today. So first, I kind of just wanted to go back to your roots and ask, obviously being from North Carolina, when did you know that you wanted to be an astronaut, and what's your kind of earliest memory of wanting to be that when you grew up?
Kate, it's great to be with you today, and indeed I did dream of being an astronaut when I was a little girl growing up in North Carolina. I can't remember the exact moment when it happened, and that's only because I don't really remember a time when I didn't want to be an astronaut. I did have posters of space up on my bedroom walls when I was a kid, and I used to love looking at the night sky. And we had a telescope in the backyard, so that was a big help in sort of just, again, that desire to explore. Travel magazines around the house. I was always reading and cutting pictures of interesting places out from my bedroom. And then my family took a road trip down to Florida from North Carolina, and we visited the Kennedy Space Center. And I think that's when a lot of my dreams came into focus, because I then found a place and a way to channel that interest that I had found.
So once you got interested, visiting the Kennedy Space Center, obviously such an exciting time. And, a lot of young kids, I feel like, kind of grow up and an astronaut is on that list of, doctor, lawyer, astronaut, teacher, those kinds of things. But what kept you pursuing it throughout your, education and your childhood, that you didn't just drop off, from young dreams as a kid? And was there anything in particular about your education that kind of kept you working towards that goal?
I do often say that most kids probably dream of becoming an astronaut. I was just the one that never grew out of it. And I think that, being in North Carolina and having awesome teachers, awesome coaches through my years there, I think the most important thing was that no one discouraged me. No one told me that I had a crazy dream. No one told me I couldn't do it. And so that dream just kept right on growing and growing. I think having amazing educational opportunities, such as the North Carolina School of Science and Math, which allows you to focus in technical areas that in my case were an interest of mine, that really helped, because it was a goal that I could pursue in the short term while in the back of my mind thinking about the long-term goal of becoming an astronaut. So those opportunities really helped, but really it comes down to the fact that everyone was so encouraging throughout my life.
So I don't think that we've told you this, but you are part of this honor that we have here at the News and Observer for the Tar Heel of the Month, for people from North Carolina who are just doing incredible things, who are proud to call North Carolina home. Can you kind of talk about your roots in North Carolina, what it means to you, your pride for this state, and obviously, like you said, your education played a big part in getting to where you are today. Can you kind of tell us some of your how you feel like North Carolina and your experience here has helped shape you, or helped you reach your goals, and kind of the pride that you have for North Carolina?
Absolutely. Two big things come to mind. The first is that North Carolina is a state of adventure. Not only did I have the beautiful coastal areas to explore, and my family would do boating trips out to all the islands, but you also have the mountains. So taking trips out there, that's where I fell in love with rock climbing, which is a hobby that I attribute a lot of my successes in pushing through and being very focused in difficult tasks. So having the opportunity to explore and to have frontiers in many different arenas in that beautiful state, I think is a big part of it. And then secondly, I would point to the people and the values of North Carolina. I grew up in a town that was very diverse, and I think that that shaped me, seeing people and growing up around people from all over the world, especially growing up so close to Camp Lejeune. That was really shaped me in my life and made me realize that everyone can contribute together, that we work best when we are a diverse group working together, and just those values of treating everyone well and putting people first, I think are some of the things that I still carry forward with me from North Carolina today.
And so obviously, you are in the process of making history up in space. And I was hoping that you could kind of describe what your first spacewalk was like, particularly in the context of this being the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moonwalk, and kind of what that means to you to now be up there, in that same company and working towards making history while you're there.
Well, first of all, it is an incredible honor to be able to contribute to this program. This is a program that I've held in such high regard in my entire life. And so to be able to do something like a spacewalk is not only an incredibly meaningful personal goal, but it's also wonderful because professionally I'm able to contribute to this program to keep the space station running at peak capacity at all times, and to be part of that puzzle to make that happen. The actual experience of going out the door is almost indescribable. To see the Earth below you in those few moments when we could take a break from our 6.5 hours of working on the space station to appreciate the environment around us were very special. I think that the perspective that you gain on a spacewalk is a little bit different than what we see just looking out the window from here on station, and it's because you're actually immersed in the environment around you. And when you look down on the Earth, there's you're one less step removed than when you're inside looking through a window. And that leads you to think, like you mentioned, of how much more amazing it would be to walk on another celestial body and to have your view of the Earth encompass the entire Earth, to have the view such as the amazing photograph known as Earthrise, and to recognize that all of humanity clings to our planet together as one. And just sort of thinking about all those on such a large scale and having the privilege to do that while you're contributing to this program, it was an amazing honor.
And so I know that you're part of the microgravity, an experiment to look at the long-term effects of that, which could contribute to future explorations on Mars for humans. Speaking of getting a view from another celestial body, do you have any hopes of walking on Mars or being one of those people to explore in the future?
I think as